You may not have a car. You may not even have a property. You could probably be living with your parents right now. But I can guarantee you one thing, if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you have a mobile phone. And we're going to talk about insuring it, whether you should or should not, in this video. What's up? This is Miguel from Tito Talks Non-Life Insurance Discussions, where we try to make non-life insurance topics easy to understand for both agents and clients. Magandang araw po. Thank you for coming aboard to this special issue of Tito Talks. Now, as mentioned earlier, we are going to talk about mobile phones today, which is a break off from property and motor car insurance. But don't worry, we'll get back to those topics very soon. Although, with today's pandemic, mobile phones have become a lot more important to us, especially now wherein most people are working from home or are coordinating with their office mates and their bosses from home as well. In fact, mobile phones have become so important, they don't just bring us our necessities wherein we order for our groceries and updates from our employees. Our phones literally feed us by allowing us to order our food and our meals from the restaurants that we love. And with that being said, losing your mobile phone during this time may be one of the most damaging actions you can take throughout this year, especially during this pandemic. Imagine operating without a cell phone in this day and age, in this pandemic. You'd be twice as disabled, you'd be twice as helpless, not even able to contact or interact with your workmates or with your loved ones. Which is why an important question to ask yourself is, can I insure my cell phone? Or is mobile phone insurance worth it? Should you get it? Should you not? And today we're going to talk about a couple of factors to consider before saying yes to that particular policy. Now, before anything else though, let's talk about mobile phone insurance, what it is and what it can do. Right off the bat, mobile phone insurance, as the name implies, is a coverage meant to allow insured customers to have their phones replaced in various circumstances. When it gets damaged, when it gets broken, when it gets lost, when it gets stolen. Even, for those of you who love to travel, water damage. Some policies, some providers will be able to provide water damage to phones. What this means for owners is that they will be able to have the insurance company replace their phones and have it sent to them should they pay their premiums. And of course, one of the most interesting things about this is that these policies also operate on deductible schemes. That means, on top of paying your premiums, you're also going to have to pay a deductible, usually about 500 to 1,000 pesos, depending on the type of phone and depending on the type of policy you have, in order to get the phone replaced, which isn't really a bad deal. However, the premiums themselves may vary from phone to phone. For some high-end phones, your premiums could go as high in between 3,000 to 5,000 pesos. But if you couple that with the 500 and 1,000 peso deductible, that seems a lot cheaper than buying a new phone outright, don't you think? Unless you're willing to settle to downgrading your phone to something worth around 5,000 to 6,000 pesos, which I'm pretty sure would be a little bit painful for you as a mobile phone owner. With that being said, let's talk about several considerations, about 4 considerations that you should keep in mind before you decide to get phone insurance for your mobile phone. And let's start with number 1. First consideration you might want to have is probably the simplest one. You could already have insurance on your mobile phone. Usually, when you get your mobile phones via a loan program, hello, home credit. um, Loan establishments or financial companies such as Home Credit actually include insurance in the loans that they offer out when you buy particular gadgets from malls or from techno shops. With that being said, the policies that you get usually just cover the phone for the length of the time that the loan is still active. So while you're still paying off the phone, should something happen, you'd be able to get the phone replaced because it'll be covered by the insurance. However, if your loan has already been paid for, you're probably on your own because the policy would probably be not renewed. It won't be renewed anymore once the loan has been paid off, and your creditor or the lender in this sense will not be able to provide you a renewal on the insurance. In that case, you're on your own and you'd probably have to find another insurer for your mobile phone. Dito po pumapasok ang iba't ibang insurers katulad po neto na nag-aalok po ng mobile phone insurance. But I'll get into those specifics next. Now, if you're sure that your phone doesn't have any insurance on it and it's still not being paid for anymore, you're in a good spot to get mobile phone insurance, and if you're really, really concerned about it. This leads us to point number 2. Point number 2 dictates that if you're already sure that you don't have insurance on your mobile phone, the next best thing to consider is your history with mobile phones. Yes, it may be painful to do, it may be painful to think about, but try to track back to all the previous other phones you had. They may have been hand-me-downs from people who have outgrown their phones. You could have bought these phones from a friend, or you could have bought these phones brand new. Doesn't matter. Have you been able to track your performance rate or your track record with owning a mobile phone? What do you mean, Miguel? Well, I'm going to ask the difficult questions. Nakailang cellphone ka na? Ilan yung nabasag mo? Ilan yung naupuan mo? Ilan ang naiwan mo sa Grab? Sa restaurant? Sa hotel? Ilan ang cellphone na ninakaw na sa'yo? Na-hold up ka na ba? These questions will help you determine if you have a history of losses with cell phones to make it a good case for buying mobile phone insurance. If you know you're prone to these types of things, which can be proven by your history, then it's probably a good idea to get mobile phone insurance. Don't you think so? Alam mo na ngang nangyayari sa'yo eh. Hindi ka pa ba kukuha? Now, with that being said, if you do have a history of losing your phone, breaking your phone, getting it stolen, you're probably in a really good spot to get mobile phone insurance. But that may not be the only consideration that you have to keep in mind, which brings us to our next point. Point number 3. Point number 3 dictates that on top of your history with your phones, with all the phones that you've already had in the past, you may also want to think of the type of phone that you have right now. Is it a Samsung? Is it an iPhone? Is it an Oppo? Is it is it any other type of brand? Is it a Vivo? Depending on the type of phone that you may have, it will also dictate the type of market value it already has in the market. If it's a really, really old model, you may not be looking at much value or at much market value or at much resale value as you would have if you've purchased the phone brand new. So the age of the phone is actually very important. If it's a really old phone, but it's got sentimental value to you, you may not want to insure it anymore as it may not be worth the cost anymore because it's a really, really old phone, and replacing it with a new one would be a much better idea. Plus, the sum insured of that particular phone may be really small as well, given the age and given the outdated model. Especially true if your mobile phone is already phased out. And when we say if a phone is phased out, that means it's no longer being manufactured and it's no longer being sold. Interesting tip though, if you want to check out the value of your phone, how good it is on the market, and how much you should probably sell it for, you can actually check this website known as GSM Arena. Really, really good tech reviews, really, really good phone reviews. I'll leave a link down in the description. Now, with that being said, let's go to our final point. Point number 4. Point number 4 would dictate that on top of looking at the current make and model of your phone, it's also important to note how much you spent on the phone itself. Was it in between the ballpark figure of 15,000 to 25,000, 26,000 to 35,000, 36,000 to 45,000, or have you really splurged and gone all the way off the deep end, spending more than 50,000 pesos on a phone? Wow. Congratulations. You've got a piece of work there. Now, if if you've spent that much money on a phone, losing it in an accident may be the dumbest thing you could ever do to yourself. And not insuring your phone would be the second dumbest thing you might have done to yourself as well. Already paying 50,000 for a phone that you're just gonna lose, and in order to replace that phone, you'd have to spend that kind of money again, which is actually very frustrating. I advise you not to do that. It causes a lot of stress, especially today, where malls are closed. Getting replacement phones is a little bit difficult. And now, having said that, with an insurance policy on your mobile phone, it actually guarantees the value of that cell phone at the time of loss. So that means even if you lose it, even if it gets stolen, even if someone sits on it, even if you drop it in the water, it's still going to be covered and it's still going to be replaced. Although, yes, you have to spend extra, about 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 pesos in extra, along with deductibles, it's still a win-win situation for you because a replacement phone of the same caliber as the one that you've lost would be more expensive than a combined deductible and premium in the first place. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. And even if you say that you already buy protective casings, you already buy safety casings, pouches for your phones, which is actually a good idea, by the way, they cannot guarantee the safety of the phone from every type of peril. Yes, your phone is safe even if you drop it. Yes, your phone is safe even if you spill some water on it. But a phone casing isn't actually going to save your phone from being stolen. It isn't going to save your phone from being dropped into the ocean when you're out on the beach, when it's time to travel again, and other sorts of perils. While a case is a really good investment, it's not the perfect investment. And one of the best investments you can get is mobile phone insurance. Now, as always, we're also going to give you your insurance word for the day before we recap our points. And our insurance word for today is, don't say this with me, arbitrate. Now, before I give you the proper pronunciation, the word arbitrate is actually a verb which refers to coming to a settlement under a government authority or under a particular authority. This is sometimes used in insurance when the insured and the insurer don't agree on a particular outcome of a claim, and the insured forwards a complaint to the insurance commission. What happens in these cases is that the insurance commission arbitrates a case between the two and helps them reach a settlement amicably wherein both parties get what they want with a little bit of compromise. So that's what arbitrate means. And let's see how it's pronounced properly with the schwa sound indicated. Just one schwa sound in this word. Let me mark it out for you. Say it with me. Arbitrate. One more time. Arbitrate. With that being said, once again, this is Miguel from Tito Talks Non-Life Insurance. Are you interested in mobile phone insurance? Usap po tayo. Are you interested in car insurance? I've got a playlist here that can show you a good list of topics to think about. Or if you're interested in improving your English as a salesperson, I've got another video there for you. Please feel free to stay on my channel and please do leave a like and subscribe. Once again, this is your Tito Miguel saying I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.